Welcome back to the Healing Hotline. I'm your host, Jessica Trambarger. For today's topic, somebody wrote into the show and they asked me to talk about toxic families, narcissistic moms and dads and sisters, and having to deal with having a hex on someone or being hexed. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, as y'all know, this is called the Healing Hotline podcast, not the trauma bonding podcast, okay? So we're about to break this down in a different way than you probably would expect, but it's healing, and that's what we do. So I'm always really careful with calling people toxic because if that word's in your vocabulary, then more than likely it's also within the way that you act. And this is no shade to the person that wrote in because we've all done this before. Just stop calling them toxic overall. Like, first things first, stop calling them toxic. They're just your fucking family. They gave you the lessons that you needed to get because you literally signed up for this shit when you came down here. If you're one of those people that are like, I didn't sign up to be here, yes, the fuck you did, or else you wouldn't be here, to be honest. And you might not have signed up for everything that you got, but best believe that what you are getting is deserving. And I am so sorry if I'm the first person who's telling you this and it sounds mean. It's not mean. It's healing. It's literally healing because you stop looking at yourself as the victim and start realizing, okay, everybody is just playing their role. And yes, some of the roles are really fucked up, but who else is going to teach you the hard lessons besides the villains, bro? The villains have the best lessons. They really fucking do, okay? But if you don't think that's enough, like if that isn't enough to make you not want to call them toxic, I'm going to tell you another reason. If you don't stop seeing your parents, your family, whoever as toxic, you will become them because you're on the healing journey. And even if you're not on the healing journey, you do become them. You're just not aware. You're just thinking life is life, whatever. But in the healing aspect, you're going to become your parents so that you can see exactly how and why they acted the way that they did. I refuse to see why my dad was so abusive. I refuse to see why my mom never even tried to, win custody back of us. I refuse to see those things. Now, there was a part of me that said, okay, I will just forgive you. But that's not quite how it works when you're healing. You cannot just say, I forgive this person for what they did, and without really fully understanding why they did what they did. And when you're healing generational trauma, understanding it is not always enough. Sometimes you have to be it. Now, honestly, no, probably you don't have to be it. If you can fully understand why they did what they did, you might not become who they were. But if there's a lot of resistance, the universe is just going to place you in their footsteps. Not entirely, but enough to show you, okay, I see that the reason why my dad would whoop us was because he didn't know how to control his own emotions. You know what I mean? So I have to make sure that I don't do that to my baby, which means that I had to learn how to regulate my emotions. Okay. So because I did not see the reason as to why my dad was the way that he was, and I just saw him as this person that, he was just angry and he just liked to whoop me, and, like he just didn't like to let me do what I wanted to do, the universe had to show me, okay, how that could manifest. Your family isn't really toxic. They're just playing the role that they were meant to play. Some people say like, oh, I could have learned this in so many other different ways. I didn't have to learn this through my parent being this way. And yes and no. Some people learn the lessons without having to go through the hardship, but some people, they need the hardship in order to learn. And everybody is different. But if your explanation as to why your parents are the way that they are was because their parents were like that to them, then that means that you're going to become your parents because your parents were like that to you, right? That's not a good enough explanation. That doesn't go deep enough. What is it? What is it that would make a grown man want to put his hands on a little kid? Oh, he doesn't know how to regulate his emotions. He was not taught that children are human beings and they deserve to have a voice. It doesn't matter if your kid doesn't agree with you, you should still allow them to have an opinion. The true healing when it comes to toxic families is to stop calling them toxic and to start seeing where they have made an impact on your behavior. Like, let's go a little bit deeper. How did that impact me? And how can I undo what has been done to me? Once you express whatever it is that it made you feel, you need to go deeper. You need to dig deeper, because if you don't, that's going to become your life. In the previous episode, I talked about, how I had some issues with my dog, and my dog really taught me a lot about how my dad acted, because my dad was so angry and he felt like he wanted to control everything. That's why he would hit me. And, if I wouldn't behave, he would hit me, and he would think that that would instill some type of respect. But it doesn't. It more so instills fear. And fear is not the same thing as respect, because when you're not looking, I'm not going to act right. I would whoop my dog if she would do something bad, and it traumatized her. It really did traumatize her. Like, she loves me. She really does love me. But the way that she acts is, you can tell that she has been traumatized, and I can admit that it is very fucked up, but that is the reality of, being raised by an abusive parent. Is you think that shit is okay. Like, other people are like, oh, why would you hit your dog? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I was raised that if you don't act right, you're going to get hit. So I did that, and once I got on my healing journey and I was about to have a baby, I thought about, like, damn, am I really going to hit my kid though? Like, and why would I hit my kid? Because later on, when she gets older, I have to teach her that it's not okay to hit when you're mad. But mommy does it. Daddy does it. Why can't I hit when I'm mad? I'm not trying to work twice as hard when it comes to parenting. Parenting is already difficult. Now you're telling me I'm going to do some shit so I could undo it later? What the fuck? How about I just don't teach that shit from the beginning? You know what I mean? But sitting here playing the blame game, and like what they say, if you point one finger, there's always 3 fingers pointing back at you. So stop with the fucking labeling of toxic families or whatever. Like, yes, you can call them toxic, but like, at the end of the day, we don't give a fuck about them. We are grateful for the lessons that they have gave us, but other than that, we do not acknowledge them. I don't acknowledge them. I might acknowledge, oh, this happened, but like, it's just like, don't give these people so much fucking credit. Don't give them so much of your energy, because you're wasting your energy. The number one thing that made me so happy when it comes to like the stuff with my family was cutting them all off, every single one of them. For the longest time, I thought that I could keep a few people in my life, and then I just saw that these people were blockages. And every single time I've let people go bit by bit by bit, more and more areas of my life have opened up. More and more areas of my life have literally gotten better because I have let these people go. I've let go of these attachments. So if you're still, talking to your family, but you believe that they're toxic, let them go. Like, dude, cut them off. Like, it's a big deal, but it's not a big deal. Like, the first few holidays, they feel a little lonely, but after that, you start to be like, this is actually better than what I used to experience. Like, for me, I'm like, damn, like, it sucks that I can't spend Christmas with my family, but at the same time, like, did I really want to? Because then I think about the fake energy that I would be around and how yucky that shit felt, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. If you have a good relationship with your family, and like, yes, they did some fucked up things, but nothing to really make you feel like being in their presence is revolting or it makes you literally like ick, like, then by all means keep a good relationship with them, and work on yourself and watch that reflect within your family. But if you truly feel like your family is toxic, you need to not speak to them again, period. Because If anything, what you're going to try to do, if you keep them in your life, is you're going to try to change them. And it's only going to frustrate you more and more and more. You cannot change anybody else. You can only change yourself. And then the universe will start reflecting that change. But a lot of times that means that them people going to have to fucking go. You're done with that energy. Guess who resembled that energy in your life? These people, they gotta go. A lot of the reasons why people stay so stuck in their journey is because they're afraid. They're so afraid to just take that leap. They're afraid to take the fucking leap. You're gonna meet new fucking people. It's not a big deal. I mean, every so often you might cry, you might miss them or whatever, but when you really think about it, you don't miss them. You miss the idea of what you feel could have been. And that is totally different from the reality that you were actually experiencing. You don't figure out how your family's toxic behaviors influenced you, then you will become them, no doubt. No doubt. No doubt you will become them, especially if you're on a healing journey. But like I said, it really doesn't matter, because if you look at people that aren't healing, they've become their fucking parents too. It's just the way that it fucking goes, because these things were instilled in you. Now they may manifest differently. Like you might not whoop your kid, but you whoop your dog. You know what I mean? You might not even have kids, but you have a dog. And you're going to whoop that dog, and you talk to the dog or your cat the same way that your parents talk to you. It's the same fucking thing. You might be an employer and you treat your employees like shit because your parents treated you like shit. All this shit. You have to go within and figure out, how did their behavior impact you? If you don't figure out how their behavior impacted you, this shit is not worth nothing. You're just going to sit here trauma bonding with other people and talking about how toxic your parents were and blah, 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 blah. And that shit don't do shit for you. It don't help you move forward. It's going to make you feel stuck. It's going to make you feel like everybody fucking sucks. Because how can you really feel that there are any good people in the world when the people that are literally, that were meant to be in your life forever, were shitty? You have to heal that first. Now, let's talk about being hexed or hexing people. Now, the hexing people, don't do that shit. Don't fucking do that shit. I don't give a fuck if y'all don't believe in the law of the three. Every single religion, spiritual practice, whatever the fuck, everybody has their own version of telling you what goes around comes around. You can find it everywhere. That means that everybody must know on some level in their core that what you put out, you get back. I don't know why this person's talking about hexing someone. I don't think that they're actually trying to hex someone. Maybe it's like, maybe the hex is like they're trying to get back. They're trying to hex the person back that hexed them. So if you think that someone has put a hex on you, the number one thing that you have to do is stop being afraid. Eliminate that thought. That's something that's easier said than done. You really have to work on regulating your nervous system and feeling safe so that you can do that. It's a process, but that is the best way to remove a hex, is to stop believing that it can even happen to you. I was dealing with spiritual attacks. I felt like I was being hexed, and I was seeing signs all over the place that I actually was being hexed. And I just sat down with my spirit team and I was like, bro, enough. Like, I'm waiting for someone to save me. No one's coming, so how can I save myself? And when I asked that question, something magical fucking happened, because my spirit team said, we got you. So I put myself through a 7-week workshop that I made called Survival Mode Off. Now at the time, I kind of felt like I was going to be making this into a workshop, but I didn't know 100%. I was just going day by day, and I was like, okay, we'll just put this together as it goes. Just decided to record every day the things that I was doing every day for a full 7 weeks. I did a bunch of different energetic exercises and basically reprogramming my mind so that I could feel safe and know that the universe was working in my favor, and therefore hexes could not work on me. Once I turned survival mode off, I completely freed myself from thinking that anything that happened to me was not in my favor. So even me breaking out, like the way that I have accepted the situation and really like maneuvered through this challenge has been completely different than anything I've ever experienced because of the fact that I turned survival mode off. It's been amazing to see how I can approach situations so differently. Like I see this brand new version of me. So you have to turn survival mode off. You have to turn that fear off and say, no, this is not what's happening to me, and I take my power back. And that's exactly what I did. You can check out my workshop at thatsoulglow.com and click on survival mode off and enroll in there. I don't believe in hexing people at all, because why do I have to hex you? Do I not believe that karma does a good enough job? I literally had this talk with karma one time. I sat down with karma. Karma sat me down. Let me not play. Karma sat me down and she said, do you think that I don't do a good enough job at what I do? And I said, well, I mean, I feel like sometimes it takes a little long, for you to, so I just be trying to speed up. She said, I've been doing my job for a really long time. This is Karma talking, by the way. She said, I've been doing my job for a really long time. I know exactly what to do and when to do it. So if somebody hasn't gotten their karma, let me let you in on a little secret. It's either coming in this lifetime later on, or it will be the next one. And at first I was like, I don't like that. I don't like that they're receiving the karma in the next lifetime, because what if they never really know what the fuck they did? But what about this? You're living life. You're in your next life. Life is so fucked up and you're trying to figure out, why does your life fucking suck so goddamn bad? Whole time it's because you were a shitty person in a past life. Damn. Now that shit hit for a lot of people, because a lot of people like, damn, was I a bad person in a past life? This is what brought me to the rabbit hole of asking my pendulum the questions about past life regression and figuring out, okay, what did I do in a past life? Because like when you start to connect the dots, you start to see that the shit that you went through in childhood, it wasn't poor little tink tink. It was Miss Man got her little clap back. Miss Karma got her clap back. Okay, that's really what the fuck it was. And people don't like this. They don't like to hear it. And I'm at the point where I don't give a fuck anymore, because it was creating such a blockage in my life for me to not talk about these subjects. But bitch, when you got placements in the 8th house, you like to talk about shit like this. Like, it's a little dark. Yeah. But it needs to be talked about, because why was I talking about this? Fear, taking your power back. Oh, karma, hexing. Yes, karma. Damn, I showed. Like, what was I talking about this again? Karma, hexing. Okay. But yeah, so karma said, you don't need to try to do my job. I'm really good at my job. I got it, sweetie. And after that, I was like, okay. I didn't do no more reversals. I didn't do none of that shit. I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to let you do you. I'm going to give it to spirit. So anytime anyone pisses me off, I send my ancestors after them. I send my spirit team after them. I send the universe after them. I don't fucking care. And I don't sit here try to wait and see, did something happen to that person after I sent my ancestors to them? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if nothing happens to them. I'm not sitting here and watching this other person. I'm not paying attention to these other people. Every single person that I have cut off, I don't fucking know shit about them. I don't watch their shit. I don't creep on their profile. I don't do none of that shit. You know why? Because everything is energy, right? So I'm going to tell you what happens when you creep on somebody else's profile. Basically, we can be in multiple places at once. So my physical body can be here and my spiritual body can be in many realms, right? So in your shadow self and all of that. So when you go and you creep on somebody else's profile, you are inviting their spirit into your space. And a lot of these people that y'all be creeping on, you don't even fucking like them. So you're inviting their energy into your space. And then you wonder why you're scrolling and you're looking through their profile and all of a sudden chaos starts happening around you. Your dog starts acting weird. Your cat starts acting weird. Baby starts fucking crying. Everybody acting a fucking fool. Why? Because you let that fucking energy in your motherfucking house. And that's why I'm real careful about the shit that I watch, the people that I listen to, the profiles that I look onto. Like, watch and pay attention now. After I said this, some of y'all, this is like brand new, to you. But watch, pay attention. I want you to pay attention on how the energy feels when you are watching certain people's content. Do you feel like prickly, itchy? Do you get irritated all of a sudden? Like, that's the energy. That's their energy. I don't hex people. I don't keep up with people. I don't keep up with my family members. I don't care. I literally don't care. In my mind, once a person is out of my life, I rarely think about them. Every so often, obviously your family is a little different, but with time, as time goes on and on and on, the memories are fading more and more and more. And for some people that's sad, but for me, I'm like, I don't give a fuck, because it's hard enough for me to remember some things. So I would rather clear out those memories to make room for new ones. Well, it looks like we had a little run-in with Mercury retrograde, and the rest of the audio from the video that I took got cut off. So I'm really just going to take that as a sign from the universe that maybe whatever I said, I could have said it better. So to recap everything, I don't believe in hexing people, but I do believe that some people should do hexes. I really think that it just depends on what your role is, because everybody has a role that they play. Some people are, going to act on behalf of karma. The thing that made me get really, really serious about healing like generational trauma when it comes to like my family stuff was realizing that if I didn't make these moves, my daughter was going to have to do the generational healing. Not everyone has to go through this. You know what I mean? So I had to sit here and realize, like, there's no way that I could have had my family in my life, especially not my dad, especially having a daughter. I could not have my dad in my life. Are you crazy? That's literally a recipe for shit to happen to her. If something happened to me when I was little, what's to say that he's not going to try something with her? You know what I mean? You don't want to repeat the pattern. You're supposed to end the cycle, and ending the cycle means that you have to do the tough shit, and you have to do the things that are uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, they actually make you feel so much better. Just a little hard to do at first, but once it's done, it's a relief. Okay, so for some of y'all, that's gonna mean cutting people off. For others, it's gonna mean like just setting better boundaries. You gotta heal, or else you're gonna make your kids heal. And if you don't have kids, you're just gonna push that trauma on to every person that you meet. And that's still harming generations. It has an impact on everybody. So if you have been chosen to heal, if you consider yourself a chosen one, that means that you have been chosen to heal generational trauma. You gotta do the hard shit for the betterment of everybody else after you, but most importantly, for the betterment of you. Take your power back. When I drop this episode, it will be New Year's Eve. Next time that y'all hear from me, it's gonna be 2024. So I hope that you guys have an amazing New Year's. And just remember, do not make any promises to yourself that you do not plan to keep, because that sends a really bad message to your subconscious mind. If you want me to talk about something specific on this podcast, make sure that you write into the show at thatsoulglow.com.